Has anyone ever told you that life after 80% can feel more like survival than living? Not many people say it openly, but the reality is that aging doesn't always come with wisdom, peace, or gentle reflections. It can bring weakness in your body and worries you never imagined. You've made it this far by fighting, enduring, giving, and building. But once you reach your 80s, the world changes in ways that are hard to explain unless you're experiencing it. You may still look the same in the mirror for a while, but your strength, memory, and independence begin to fade like old fabric. What no one warns you about, what they never put in books or retirement brochures, is how this stage of life can challenge you in ways you never expected, not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. This video isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about acknowledging what many older adults feel but rarely talk about, and helping you prepare for the hidden challenges that emerge when you enter your 80 seconds. We'll explore 7 hard truths about aging after 80. Things you deserve to know so you can face them with strength, dignity, and choice. Being prepared doesn't mean being pessimistic, it means being powerful. Let's start with the first truth, the shrinking circle of people. By the time you reach 80, your phone doesn't ring as often, not because people don't care, but because many of them are no longer around. One of the toughest aspects of old age is the gradual loss of your social circle. Friends passing away, neighbors moving to assisted living, and even family members becoming less available as they manage their own busy lives. It's not just about death, it's about the absence that creeps in slowly. The weekly lunch you once shared with a friend stops happening, and the familiar voice you used to hear every Sunday after church is gone. What makes it worse is that no one replaces them. People your age are dwindling, and younger folks don't quite fill the same space in your heart. This shrinking circle doesn't just affect your schedule, it affects your spirit. Loneliness isn't just about being alone, it's about feeling invisible. It's realizing that fewer people know your story, that fewer people remember who you were at your prime, and that fewer people check in on you. When these connections are lost, your sense of self can slip too. You begin to wonder if you still matter, if anyone would notice if you stayed in bed all day. That's why this first truth is crucial to face. After 80, your social circle will change, sometimes faster than you expect. Here's the counterbalance. You have the power to make new connections even now. Some seniors start volunteering, not to feel useful, but to feel connected. Others find joy in small, regular interactions, like chatting with the same cashier at the local store, or joining a book club for seniors at the library. The goal isn't to rebuild what's lost, but to ensure you're not isolated and silent. If you're over 80 and have experienced the emptiness of fewer familiar voices, you're not imagining it. It's one of the hardest transitions of aging, but acknowledging it and reaching out for even one new connection can be a lifeline. While the past may be fading, your story is still unfolding, and someone, somewhere, still needs to hear it. Reality second, the body's subtle rebellion after 80. Your body doesn't just age, it starts to negotiate. One day, your knees feel fine. The next, they ache with every step. What surprises many older adults isn't the dramatic decline, but the quiet rebellion of the body. Stiffness that wasn't there last week, a sudden loss of appetite, naps that feel more necessary than optional. You might expect gradual strength loss, but what surprises many is the inconsistency. You might sleep fine for several nights, only to suddenly find yourself awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. Your digestion, once reliable, starts reacting poorly to foods you've eaten your entire life. It's as though your body keeps changing the rules without telling you. This unpredictability can make you feel betrayed by the body you've lived in for decades. You may wonder if it's a new normal or just a passing issue, and whether you should see a doctor or wait it out. The uncertainty wears you down. It's not just about pain. It's the emotional toll of not feeling steady in your own body. Yet most people around you, especially younger ones, don't see it. You might still look fine on the outside, walking, doing chores, making jokes, but they don't see how much energy it takes to keep up that rhythm. They don't see how you plan errands around your good hours, skip meals to avoid heartburn, or sit down not because you're tired, but because standing makes your legs tremble. The toughest part is that this subtle breakdown doesn't stop, and it doesn't always follow a pattern. One day you might feel young again, giving you hope. The next day, you might feel older than your age, and that hope fades. It's not weakness, it's the reality of your body working harder to maintain its functions. You're still you, but now you need to listen more carefully, move more gently, and rest more often. Something that can help is sticking to routines. Simple ones, like drinking warm water in the morning, stretching gently before bed, or going outside for sunlight, even for just 10 minutes. These actions remind your body that you're still on its side, that you're not giving up, just adjusting. And that's the quiet strength of aging well, not resisting change, but learning how to move with it. Reality third, the shrinking circle of people after 80. One of the hardest truths to face is that your circle gets smaller. Sometimes it happens gradually, and other times all at once. Friends who you used to call every week stop answering. Neighbors you once shared coffee with move away or pass on. Even your own family, the ones who once relied on you for everything, seem too busy with their own lives. It's not always that people mean to pull away. Life just changes. Your children become grandparents themselves, their time consumed by work, grandkids, health concerns, and stress. While they still love you, the phone calls become less frequent and visits become rushed. The sense of belonging fades. At first, you might convince yourself it's temporary. They're just busy this month. But weeks turn into months. Birthdays pass with only a short text and holidays feel quieter. You find yourself reminiscing more, replaying old conversations, and holding on to memories because new ones are harder to come by. Aging also brings a social shift. Maybe you don't drive at night anymore, or it's harder to hear in loud places. Perhaps getting dressed for a gathering now takes much more energy than it used to. Even when there are opportunities to connect, you hesitate. You want to go, but you weigh the cost, and often the cost feels too high. This creates a dangerous loop. The less you connect, the more invisible you feel. The more invisible you feel, the easier it is for others to overlook you. It's not intentional, but it's real and painful. Sandra, an 84-year-old woman, shared that the loneliest part of her day wasn't being alone. It was realizing that no one was expecting her call or waiting for her to show up. When she missed an event at her local community center, no one even noticed. Here's the important part. Shrinking circles don't mean disappearing lives. You don't need a crowd to feel connected. One or two meaningful relationships, someone you can laugh with or just sit in silence with, can be enough. Sometimes that means reaching out, even when it feels awkward, writing a letter instead of waiting for a call, or saying yes to a neighbor's invitation, even when you'd rather stay home. It also helps to offer your presence where it's needed. Mentor someone younger, volunteer if you can, share your story. You might feel like no one's listening, but someone is, and your life experiences can be the anchor they need. Growing older doesn't mean becoming irrelevant, but staying visible does take effort. It starts by remembering that while your circle may be smaller, your value hasn't shrunk at all. Reality fourth, the burden of outliving others. There's a quiet pain that comes with outliving the people you love, and after 80, it becomes more than just a possibility. It becomes a pattern. You don't just say goodbye to one person, you say goodbye again and again, to friends who shared your childhood, to siblings who knew your parents, and even to your spouse, the one you thought you'd grow old with. It's not just loss, it's the weight of carrying all those memories alone. You find yourself being the last one to remember a funny moment from 1963, the only one who still knows the story behind the dent in the garage door. There's no one left to say, remember when, and have them smile knowingly. This kind of loneliness is different. It's not just about being without others. It's not just about being alone. It's about realizing that no one else remembers your life the way you do. No one else has your history. The characters in your story have dwindled, and you're left on stage with fewer familiar faces in the audience. You may also feel a kind of guilt, not the kind tied to wrongdoing, but survivor's guilt. You start wondering why you're still here when others aren't. You replay decisions, think about missed calls, and carry questions without answers. The grief doesn't fade, it just changes form. Robert, an 87-year-old man, shared that the hardest part of aging wasn't his aching knees or blurry vision. It was the mornings when he reached for a second cup of coffee out of habit, or when he sometimes heard his wife's voice in his head, answering a question he never asked out loud. But there's something we don't talk about enough. There's strength in being the one who remembers. There's courage in waking up to a quieter house and still choosing to get out of bed. There's beauty in telling the stories of those who are gone, in keeping their legacy alive through your own voice. Reality fifth, the shrinking of personal freedom. After 80, something strange starts to happen. Even if you're still sharp, capable, and independent, people begin to treat you like you're not. Little by little, your freedom starts to shrink. It starts with small things. Maybe your children insist on driving you everywhere, even when you know you're perfectly fine behind the wheel. Or they begin questioning what you eat, when you sleep, how you take your pills. It's not that they don't love you, it's that their concern makes them overstep. Suddenly, you're not the one making the final decisions. You're being advised, guided, or gently pushed. This is when frustration begins to creep in. You know your own limits. You've earned the right to make your own choices. But the world around you starts deciding for you, as though old age cancels out a lifetime of judgment and self-control. You might even feel invisible in conversations, as if your preferences don't matter as much as they used to. Joyce, 84, shared how her daughter started organizing every part of her day, from morning walks to the TV shows she watched. It came from love, but it made Joyce feel like a child. She said she felt her independence was slowly being erased, not because she couldn't function, but because others assumed she couldn't. This is one of the quiet struggles of aging, the battle to maintain your agency in a world that means well but doesn't always listen. It's not about being stubborn, it's about dignity. It's about still having a say, about being asked, not told. And here's the key part. Setting boundaries at this stage isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can say, "I appreciate your help, but let me handle this." Or express when something doesn't feel right. The people who love you might be surprised at first, but over time they'll learn to respect. Because the truth is, the more you protect your independence, the longer you stay connected to the life you've built out. It's not just about being alone, it's realizing that no one else remembers your life the way you do. No one else shares your history. The characters in your story have diminished, and you're left on stage with fewer familiar faces in the audience. You may also feel a kind of guilt, not for any wrongdoing, but for outliving others. You begin to wonder why you're still here when others are gone. You replay decisions, think about missed opportunities, and carry unanswerable questions. Grief doesn't fade, it just shifts. Charles, an 87-year-old man, once said, "I've been to more funerals in the last 5 years than I can count, and each time, a little piece of my life goes with them." That feeling is something many people carry. They don't talk about it, not because they don't feel it, but because it's become a part of life. But here's what keeps many people grounded: the decision to keep opening up to new people, despite the risk of more goodbyes, to keep finding reasons to laugh, celebrate, and invite someone over for coffee, even if they're 30 years younger. Staying connected isn't just a way to pass time, it's a way to stay alive inside. If you're going through this right now, don't be ashamed of the sadness. Don't pretend it's not heavy. Just know that there's still room for joy, even if it comes in new forms with new faces. Let grief walk beside you, but don't let it stop you. That's how you keep going. Reality. 7th, facing your own fragility with grace. After 80, one of the most humbling things you'll face is your own fragility. Not just in your muscles or bones, but in the everyday things you once took for granted, like tying your shoes, getting up from a low chair, or holding a cup steady. It's not that you feel old all the time, but every small stumble or minor ache reminds you that your body has limits now, limits that didn't exist before. This realization, if you let it, can shake your confidence. It may make you second-guess simple activities like walking alone, traveling, or even cooking. You begin to plan your day based not on what you want to do, but what you can safely do. While this shift can be practical, it can also make your world feel smaller. But here's the important part. Fragility is not weakness, it's wisdom in motion. It's your body telling you to move more carefully and listen more closely. It's your life reminding you that you've been strong for so long, and now the strength lies in adjusting with grace. I met a woman named Nancy, 84, who once said something I'll never forget. "I don't mind that I need a cane now. I earned it." It's a reminder that I've walked a long, meaningful road, and I'm still going. That mindset is everything. While some try to hide their limitations or pretend they're still 60, others find strength in adapting. They use tools, ask for help, and take their time. In doing so, they preserve their independence longer than those who refuse to accept their body's changes. So, don't fight your fragility. Learn to work with it. Strength after 80% isn't about pushing through pain or proving you can do everything on your own. It's about choosing what matters most, conserving your energy, and continuing to show up, present, grateful, and wise. What matters most is how you carry yourself through it all, with courage, dignity, and a quiet kind of strength that only those who have lived long enough can understand. Final thoughts. Getting older after 80 isn't just about dealing with the physical. It's about facing some of the hardest truths with your head high and your heart open. You don't have to pretend it's all easy, it's not. But there's deep power in knowing these realities and choosing to meet them with wisdom, not fear. You are not a burden. You are not forgotten. You're still here, and your presence, your stories, your laughter, and your spirit matter more than ever. Take care of your mind. Don't hide your emotions. Accept the loneliness, but don't give in to it. Stay curious. Stay open. Be honest about money, but never lose your generosity. Choose kindness, and when your body slows down, walk with pride anyway.